With the start of the new season, it was time for me to make a brand new Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build for his season on NBA 2K24. Now, I feel like people usually make an SGA build wrong because they forget how good of a player he is on defense. I mean, check this out right here. Look at this guy's video right here, bro. He put a 35 steal on an SGA build. Who would do that? All jokes aside, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be showing you guys this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build and how to make it, and I'm also going to be showing you guys direct gameplay. And with all that out of the way, let's get started with today's video. Let's go. All right, so for this build, you can realistically make it at point guard or shooting guard. I actually ended up making it at shooting guard, but you can make it at either position. Height's going to be 6'6", weight 184 pounds with a 7'2" wingspan. And now starting things off in the finishing, we're going to get an 87 driving layup, which is going to get you fearless finisher on gold, as well as the LeBron layup style, which is actually one of my favorite ones to use in the game. Then our driving dunk is going to be a 65. That gets you a bunch of really good dunk packages. Now, Shai could have a higher driving dunk, but with how expensive driving dunk is in this game, I just didn't think it was worth going up to like a 75 to get some dunk animations for Shai. And then moving on to the post control, we're going to have an 85, which gets you post fade phenom on Hall of Fame. And again, speaking about things with how the builder is designed, post control is very cheap in the My Player builder to upgrade, so we just went up to an 85 to get the fade phenom on Hall of Fame. Realistically, Shai should have somewhere between a 70 and a 75. Now moving on to the finishing highlights, and as you can see, all of these highlights are going to be from the brand new season, the season 6. You guys can see the jerseys, you can see the court, and let me know down below what you guys think about these jerseys. Are these good jerseys? Honestly, if you guys are unaware, these are actually kind of a rerun jersey. I'm not gonna lie, these were jerseys that were used in, I believe, either season 7 or season 8 of NBA 2K23. Whatever the season was when they added the Lego 2K Drive game is when they used these uniforms. All right, so now moving on to the shooting, we're going to have a 90 mid-range shot on this build, which is going to get you blinders and deadeye on gold. And then we also have a 76 three-point shot, which is pretty good for a Shai build, and it also gets you bronze agent threes. Now, the shooting on this build is one of the more underrated things. You're going to be able to hit your three-point shots at a pretty good rate on this build, and then you're going to be an elite mid-range scorer as well. And that's the one good thing with this year's game and how the builder is designed. When you have a really high mid-range rating on your builds, it gets you a bunch of shooting badges that helps you be a better three-point shooter as well, especially considering like badges like catch and shoot on gold is something you can get with your mid-range rating. So even though our three-point rating is a 76, it's not going to really feel like it. And again, you're going to be able to score off the dribble out at the three-point line as well. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really dribbling a whole lot there. I wasn't dribbling great there is what I meant to say. But again, catch and shoots are going to be easy to go in, and you can attack off the dribble very easily on this build. Here's a good example of this right here. And this guy kind of played this weird. There's like defenders in this game, and you'll see it later on in some of these clips. There are defenders that will just take away a side just so hard and think it's going to be the best defense in the world. Like some guys will just take away your left the whole time, be like, yeah, there's no way he's not going to see that, like, I'm taking away his left and go to the right, and then I go to the right for an open midi feint, and he's just like, oh, okay, well, he's wide open. Anyways, again, back to the shooting highlights. You're going to be able to shoot very well on this build, especially if you get sharp shooting takeover. It's not going to be hard to shoot if you get some reps in with the jump shot I'm going to be showing you guys. And again, right here, shot clock's kind of low. Again, this is another one of those situations where he's just going to take away my left so hard the whole time, and I kind of fell for the bait there, but I was able to shoot the contested mid-range fade, and we were able to get the shot off. But again, there's just so many people that play defense like that where they will just take a side away the whole time and just think that that's going to be the greatest defense in the world. And part of it is because they'll play a lot of people that dribble a lot, and they just don't really read the defense and see where people are lining up and making sure, hey, is he shading to the right? Is he shading to the left? What's he trying to take away? Because as a defender, you should try and take away a side from a player and try and force him to like a help defender. Right here, again, we're going to hit him with a nice little crab dribble animation, shoot the mid-range shot, and that's going to go in. And that's a shot you can go to a lot on this build. And here was the jump shot I was using for today's video. It was Tracy McGrady base, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander upper release, which actually isn't that bad. And then we're going to blend that with Troy Brown Jr. All right, now moving on to the playmaking, we're going to have an 89 pass accuracy, which we know gets you the Tyrese Halliburton pass style, which is by far the best passing style in this game. And then coming to the ball handling, we get an 85, which is going to get you handles for days and speed booster on silver. And then we also have a 75 speed with ball, so you can get all the dribble styles that you want to use. Now, again, this was a build that I said that you can make it either point guard or shooting guard for the very specific reason that you're going to have good playmaking on this build. You're going to be a really good passer on this build, just like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander himself, which means that you could play point guard if you wanted to on this build. And honestly, with how this game is designed, you don't need much higher of a pass accuracy than 89. 89 is the perfect threshold to get all the badges that you need and have a good enough pass velocity that you can get it across the court without any issue to any open teammate. But yeah, no, so the pass accuracy is really good. The ball handle is really good as well. I think silver speed booster is like the perfect threshold when it comes to getting speed booster. I don't think gold or Hall of Fame speed booster is actually worth it, to be honest with you. I think silver is the perfect threshold. Maybe you need gold speed booster if you're playing like point guard and like pro-am, but if you're just playing casually, you don't need much higher than Silver Speed Booster, especially if you understand how to get the good speed boost animations with doing the hezzies, the wide crosses, and then once you start getting into your bag with like moves like doing like L2 cancels with like the Jamal Murray behind the bag, that's another thing that's going to add to your arsenal to make you a really good playmaker. And speaking of playmaking, the animations that they added for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are not that great. They gave him a crossover and a behind the back, and neither of those animations are really that good, and you can see them right here. But again, the crossover is not better than De'Aaron Fox or Kobe, and then the behind the back is definitely not better than Jamal Murray. Now here is the most important part of the build and the most improved version of this build compared to the last version of this build that I came out with is the defense. You're going to have a 75 perimeter defense, which gets you clamps on bronze. And again, if I had more attribute points to work with, I would give him at least a little bit of a higher perimeter defense, but I think 75 is perfectly fine in this game. And then for the steal, you're going to have a 91, which gets you glove, interceptor, right stick ripper, all on gold. And since Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is leading the league in steals with over 2 a game, I had to give him at least a 91 steal. Then moving on to the block rating, we're going to have a 68 so we can get bronze chased on artists. And again, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think, is averaging more than a block per game all the way into this point of the season. So he's a really good defender. He's a good shot blocking guard. He's really good at getting steals. So I had to make sure I got him steal and block. But now moving on to the defensive highlights, and listen, man, you're going to be able to tear it off him. You're going to be able to rip it off him with the right stick ripper on gold, the glove on gold, and they're not going to be able to keep that ball in their hands at all. Now, when I made this build, I floor set all 3 of these badges on gold because I wanted them off the rip maxed out. Right stick ripper, glove, and interceptor are all on gold on my build from the beginning, and it was really nice to have. And honestly, with how steals are in this game, you could easily average way more than 2 steals per game on this build with the interceptor, with the right stick ripper. I actually had a stat line in this early part of the season where I had 40 points, 6 assists, and 6 steals. And again, man, you're going to be great on both ends of the floor. You can score without any issue, and you're going to be a dominant force on the defensive end, just getting passing lane steals in every single way possible. Yeah, here's a clip from that 46-6 game that I was talking about. And now taking a look at the builder here again, a couple things I do want to mention with the physicals. We're going to have an 84 speed, 73 acceleration, 65 strength to get the fearless finisher on gold, a 60 vertical to make sure we get the chase down artist on bronze, and then a 95 stamina. Overall, this build is pretty well rounded. You're going to be good on both ends of the floor, and I think this is the closest thing possible to a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build in this year's game. And honestly, I'm going to try and grind this build out again a little bit so I can do some gameplay with this build later on, like some rec random stuff. I want to get the block upgraded on this build. I didn't have the 68 block when I was playing, and since the playoffs are coming around, he's going to probably play in the playoffs, perform really well, so it'll be really good to do some like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playoff rec videos, if that makes any sense. All right, so now the build is complete, and when coming out of the My Player Builder, you're going to get some interesting player shades on this build. You're going to get shades of Monte Ellis, DeJounte Murray, and Devin Vassell. You're going to get the build name inside the Arc Maestro, which I think is actually pretty cool. And that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm out. Peace. Bye.